Hey,
And we
oh,
are live.
what's up? Was it Monday? It used to be. So we're going back to Wednesday. No, we're not going back to Wednesday time slot on UPZ, Weston. But we are doing it this one because well, actually, what was the reason? Oh, yesterday. Um, man, I was in such a bad mood yesterday. I was like, I'm gonna cancel the show this until after AX,
Oh, you should have.
and no, but because I just had a lot of stuff going on just in general recently. I'm just really busy, and but yeah, yesterday I couldn't. I just literally couldn't, and I wanted Nestor on, and Nestor couldn't either. So
What, yesterday?
yeah, remember I asked you. I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
asking you like every week for a while, but I asked you about this week, like on Friday or something like that, like because you mentioned at some point, doesn't matter. But anyways, this is Ultra Podcast Z episode 209, and it's the summer. I mentioned this in the last podcast. The period between Fanime and AX, at least to weebs like me, is this nebulous period, very similar to the period between Christmas and New Year's. Obviously longer, obviously more weeby, but but yeah. So I've been a little all over the place, and I've been playing a lot of video games, and that's the topic of tonight, and that's why Nestor's here. Nestor, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm back after being asked multiple times.
Like 30
Here to just
times.
here to I mean, I'm here. Here to discuss that Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Sorry,
yeah, I'm back.
I'm doing I'm doing the post and oop, no, don't tag him. It's funny because I like to do that annoying thing where I tag a ton of people, and I almost tag somebody I've been talking to a lot recently, but not like n- they're not a weeb. That's the long and the short of it. They're
You're
not a
not
weeb,
a
so like
weeb. All right.
so they probably would have been like, "What the fuck are you tagging me?" Yeah, Manuel has non-weeb friends, believe it or not.
I'm just surprised you have friends.
Oh wow, wow, JD with the jokes. With the jokes. Anyways, um, I don't know why this popped up. Did you guys see that like fucking Shaq's gonna be at fucking ALA? I mean ALA, AX.
At AX, yeah.
He's a
Like,
DJ.
okay. I was wondering
Show
They
as
like the
gotta
whole
what?
Shaq.
they gotta pay him to do something, right?
Dude, what the fuck is he? It's funny because I saw this because I'm in like a crypto. Don't ask too many questions about the whys on this one. But I'm like in a crypto bro like whatchamacallit Discord, and people were
DJ
in
Diesel.
people were in the chat talking about him being at AX because I don't know if you know this, and you can Google this. I don't feel like getting too deep in the weeds here, but he's a defendant in the FTX like lawsuit, the whole scandal. Like the if you don't know, just the really quick version is it's the biggest crypto scam of all time. Um, and he's a defendant in it because he was involved with it and he promoted the fuck out of it. And he's been hiding all year.
Who, Shaq?
Yes, he's been hiding all year from the people trying to subpoena him. Like I don't know how subpoenas really work, but it's kind of like a bounty type thing where you pay people to like serve him the papers. Um, and people have like, and he'll just hide. He'll get cars pulled up and he'll like go out in disguise and like just hide.
I gotta admit, how do
And
you disguise yourself when you're Shaq?
exactly, don't I have no idea.
How many
But it's
people are as
funny.
tall as he is?
But it's funny because in my head, I mean in my head, but everyone in the chat was like, "Is that bounty still on?" Because like we know where he's gonna be. Like, and he's not gonna like hide. And yeah, it could be like security, but honestly, it's not even secure. I think that technically, legally, you can't be stopped from serving the papers like by like it's like no, I'm not gonna attack the guy or just come with me. I'm gonna put these in front of him and walk away.
Hmm. I mean,
So people,
I think from that you have to make the intention clear that like, hey, it's like this is for you, and you have to not physically hand it, but put it in the vicinity for them to
yeah.
receive it.
Anyway, so if he hasn't been served already, and I didn't feel like going to the whole chat because it was getting really stupid, but I'm pretty sure if anyone's going to that show, someone's gonna serve him the papers. Is he gonna be served like in Kazam? Wait, was he actually in Kazam? Is that the one he? Yeah, he's in Kazam. It's Sinbad. By the way, I've said this a million times, but everyone who thinks that Shazam was a real movie, y'all are just racist. I'm just keeping it real. Y'all need to stop with that.
It exists in an alternate world.
Anyway, video games. The
Wait,
Nintendo
hold
Direct.
on. Let me read this real quick. The Hall of Famer first discovered electronic dance music after crashing the festival Tomorrowworld in 2014, a milestone event that changed his life forever after being exposed to DJs such as Steve Aoki and Skrillex. His DJ name is DJ Diesel.
As in, oh, never mind. I don't know why I got Diesel confused briefly with Steel, as in the character he portrayed in that horrible movie. Does anyone remember that time, by the way? And no,
Uh,
I don't mean when Shaq was in Steel. I mean,
like it's like during his basketball break.
I was really into comic books at that time, and Steel, he was one of the Supermen that popped up after Superman died.
yeah.
It was him. It was Superboy. Well, he was still Superman, but I mean, it was like, don't call me Superboy. It was him, Superboy, this fucking cyborg-looking fucking Superman who was like Terminator-esque, and this other Kryptonian Superman who was just like, he had like a mullet and he had sunglasses. Oof, Steel, yeah. Don't go watch Steel. I saw Steel a couple years ago. I think it was on Tubi, and I'm like, man, this movie's still bad because like fucking Shaq is in the Steel outfit, which isn't a bad outfit, but it's clearly like made out of like rubber, you know. So
Yeah, I'm looking
like,
at the suit. It's not. It's not the greatest.
it's mainly that it looks cheap. It looks like what the fuck.
His
Yeah,
name.
comic book movies were a shaky thing back in the day.
His name was John Henry Irons.
Hmm.
Well, I think that was his name. I can't remember if how based on the comics it was or wasn't.
I
Obviously, it
believe
was the
that is.
Superman in the movie.
Let me make sure. Yes, that is
But
the name of the
he,
character in the comic books. It is John Henry Irons.
Hmm.
what's funny is that um the whole when I was a kid, I used to think that all these Superman thought that they were pretending to be Superman. But now that I went back and read, I didn't do this recently, but I read it a couple years ago. The whole death and return of Superman arc. They were never really, except for the Superboy, they were never really pretending to be Superman. They just were trying to take his place. Because I remember as a kid being so confused because they showed who Steel was under the thing, and I'm like, um, that's not Superman. Like he's a human, and he's a large black man. I'm pretty sure that we would not confuse the two. Um, he actually, I wouldn't be surprised if John Henry Irons was based on Shaq because I always thought he looked kind of like Shaq, like not look like Shaq, but he was like big and like huge. Like,
Manuel, you know that thing
what?
about racism you were saying a bit ago?
Oh my god! I mean, because he's big and huge, and like Shaq was
Yeah,
huge
because
at
there
that
are no
time.
Big
other.
and huge, huh? Big and huge.
Well, this is before the Green Mile and Michael Clark Duncan. There weren't a lot of like culturally like. Okay, yeah, I'm being kind of racist.
Yeah.
Okay, I take it back. Rest in peace, by the Michael Clark Duncan.
I was
Mhm.
about to say
Anyway,
that.
uh, anyways, everyone go to AX and go surf Shaka's papers. Go see Taco Takahashi. He's like he's the other headlining DJ. And I know JD's not going because Demon Dice isn't performing there this year.
I'm going to
But
AX.
Constellation, no, I mean Constellations is happening again at 1720, and my homie's putting on that one. So you can go see BPM, Ichigo Q, and Paida there. And Paida has actually been on UPZ before, so you can go see friend of the channel Paida, and shit like that at Constellations on. I think it's on the day zero, the 30th, next Friday. But I don't know if you saw JD. Sorry, we're getting mad off topic. I don't know if you saw JD, but Demon Dice is performing on the 5th.
Yes, I saw
So I don't
that.
know if you.
And that's the
I don't
day
know if
I'm
you're seeing it.
leaving.
Oh, oops.
Yeah.
Rip JD. Because I remember you briefly saying that maybe you were gonna. Well, because you're obviously staying at least one more day. Because I know we're leaving. You're staying another day. Because that's what you were asking. But I didn't know how long you were staying. But oops, I guess you're not staying for Demon Dice.
Yeah, I wish I'd known that before I'd booked my flights.
Isn't John Henry that famous black
No,
person who
he's
someone
the
else named?
guy from the like a folk tale
The
about the one who beat the
the
machine with his hammer. Like
yeah, and
they,
then like his heart stopped or
yeah,
whatever. Um,
I believe that's why
I
Steel
just
uses a
remember.
hammer.
I only remember that character. Well, I think we read a story about the folk hero two guy, but I only remember that story because what's his face? Johnny Cash did a song on about based on it on one of the prison albums he did. I saw a thing the other day that Johnny Cash did 97 albums, and I'm like, motherfucker, that's a lot of albums. Anyway, speaking of a lot of albums, the Nintendo Direct happened. Did you guys watch it?
That's an interesting segue, Manuel. How does that
I don't
actually
know.
work?
I don't
Speaking of
know.
Nintendo,
Speaking of a Nintendo, did you guys did you guys ever see that ad? And it gets shared around a lot when Nintendo was scared in the 90s. Nintendo was scared of the word Nintendo becoming
Genericized?
untrademarkable. Yeah, that's the word, genericized. So they put out all those ads like there's no such thing as a Nintendo. Like, they're called video games. Nintendo is a company, blah blah. And
well,
they
yeah, I
put
mean
out
it's a
real ads
company, so
because
obviously because it's a company, they're safe.
oh, actually, a really good example, like the whole Kazam thing, like the whole Mandela effect. You
Hmm.
know how like a million of those are just misspelled things. Like,
Bullshit.
did
Yeah.
you know Febreze only has one e? Motherfucker, do you not know how marketing works? uh they misspell it on purpose because they can't trademark the correct spelling. Like they can't trademark the term Captain Crunch because those are two words, but they could trademark Cap'n Crunch because they made that up. They could trademark, they can't trademark Rite Aid because like those are two common words, but they could trademark Rite Aid with the RITE or like
RITE
nightlight.
is also a word.
It is, but anyways,
Yeah.
you get the point I'm getting at.
Yes.
It's like is that like that's why I always love that so many in the list are just misspelled things. And I'm like, you guys don't know how this works. Lego did a Sun Wukong cartoon recently, and they called it Monkey Kid as opposed to like Monkey King, but they spelled monkey with an IE, which is a way you don't see, nobody spells monkey like that. I don't think that's ever been an official spelling of the word monkey, but they misspelled it so that they could fucking trademark it. Anyways, but yeah, and then things like Kleenex, Xerox, and shit like that, then they become like so synonymous with the items. Q-tips, like does anyone call those cotton swabs or whatever?
No.
Uh, so yeah, like Nintendo was scared of that. But I think the new common fear with like, with Americans calling things video games is calling things Xbox, which is hilarious because I think Xbox is like, I fucking hate Xbox. Is that a controversial thing to say? Like I
No.
just feel I just feel like it's everything wrong with Western gaming. It's big,
Yeah.
it's dumb, it's stupid, and it's only important if you're in the US.
Well, I mean, considering that for years and years and years, American mothers in the U.S. would just call everything a Nintendo.
Like I like how Microsoft never seemed too worried about like I feel like maybe it's just a regional thing, maybe it's just like of a certain age. Remember when like Obama was calling everything, like was calling like video games Xbox or whatever in some of his speeches, and it was like
Does he have an
I
Xbox?
I don't know if like his kids have Xbox because he didn't he have young kids. Maybe he bought his kids a fucking 360 or something. But I don't know. I just think that's the more synonymous term of video games, and I hate it. You know how many times I hate seeing in the comments where it's all like, "Bring this very Japanese series to the Xbox." I'm like, how about you don't buy an Xbox? Like, why did you buy that? Like, why did you buy that? Why did you buy that and think you could play a Japanese game on it? Don't get me wrong, I know you can, but you know how many games only get the weird Xbox releases sometimes, definitely only in the US.
Yeah,
I
because the
don't know. I'm
Xbox
sure you
sells
know this
like
more.
dozens of units in Japan, and I'm using dozens very specifically there.
Hmm.
Well, it's funny because Microsoft spent billions to get like all these exclusive games on the 360, tons of them, tons of them. And it's funny because so many series either had to start on the 360 in Japan or are like stuck there forever because like they got a weird release there, came to the US, and it's sold like 12,000 copies. I think there's tons of games like that where it's all like the games, these huge big name series in Japan had a 360 release that like sold like dirt. But it doesn't matter to the company because Microsoft paid them millions to do it. So they're like, yeah, we made our money, I guess. But
Yeah,
my
like Magna Carta. Remember that?
Microsoft, oh yeah, Magna Carta. The the sequel was a 360 exclusive, wasn't it? The first one I think was
Hmm.
on PS2 with the big titty girl. I mean, big titty anime girl. Like, oh, big surprise. But but I do But I do remember the sequel getting on there. The record of Algarest War, the one where you like, it's a tactics game, but you marry waifus and have kids,
Yeah,
and the
well,
kids take over the war.
I mean that's all over the Switch now, considering that I
Now,
have 100 copies at my store. So
now it is. Before that was a 360 series. I think the Idol Master games, those are still well. Now there's some on the PS5 and PS4, but like that series started on the 360.
Oh yeah,
I know
Manuel.
because I have a lot of those games. Yeah.
Just a correction. Magna Carta, the series, is Korean, not Japanese.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Oh,
well,
I guess it is unique to have a big titty waifu then maybe.
I mean, isn't it Ben Presto?
I thought it was
They
Bad
did it.
Presto too, but maybe it was published by a Japanese publisher.
Probably, yeah. That's probably what I'm getting.
Says it was
confused.
developed and published by Softmax.
Who the fuck is Softmax? Well, a Korean company,
And
obviously.
why does the box have a Ben Presto logo on it?
Look at the first.
Well, sorry,
Magna
I'm looking at
Carta
the
game.
first game. Maybe the the
Oh,
first
you
game
look
was never released outside Korea. That's why.
The first game was released on the PS2. I have it.
No, the first game was
No. There was Magna Carta:
Oh,
The
was there a
Phantom's
game
Island,
before?
which is 2001, and then they did Tears of Blood, which is on PS2.
yeah.
Oh, well, look at the PS2 one. That's the big titty girl I've been mentioning a million times. And there's a couple others in the game. There's actually
Oh, that was Atlas. What the?
I know it's surprised too. I'm like, wait, that was Atlas. What the hell? It's funny because the screenshot shows the other big titty girl, the one in the red. If you just Google it, like it comes up as a YouTube video. And I just remember that girl in the red is what I'm really thinking about. Because I was just like, damn, that's a lot of titty in this game that I played when I was like 17. Anyway, um, yeah, I don't know. Like Xbox is funny. Xbox being doing that since Xbox years. Xbox is a weird company. I don't know why people still buy Xbox. It has no exclusives, and before anyone's like, yeah, it does. No, it has no console exclusives. Like, every single thing that comes out on the Xbox is also either
On PC.
will or yes, it's on PC, and I think that's by choice. So it has no exclusives. Period. But people still buy the Xbox in the millions, and it blows my mind.
Yeah,
It
no.
makes no sense to me.
Hey,
That's why, like, I invested in that in my PS5. Obviously, I have a Switch, and I just buy Game Pass because what else do I need?
Mhm.
I think that's what they want, and that's the future they want. But still, it's like, don't buy hardware.
Honestly, just don't buy hardware unless it's Nintendo, because Nintendo's the only one that's like still kind of doing their own thing. And honestly, that might not be forever, but for now they are.
Like
That's a
saying,
good segue.
though some people don't
Mhm.
want to spend hundreds of extra dollars on something for playing games just for their PC and would rather have something for the living room too. Which you can obviously do with a PC. It's just a lot harder than just going to the store, paying the cashier like $500 and then taking it home and plugging it in.
At that point, maybe this is like a matter of choice, but at that point, get a PS5, because a PC isn't honestly it's not that much more with some of the modern console prices, and I don't know, like I always find like it's so hard to like why are modern games so fucking huge? I get that. I kind of get why, but I'm like, I don't get it. Why does each game cost like 100? I mean, take cost. Why does each game take up 100 gigs? And why are hard drives only like a terabyte in consoles by standard?
Well, you're lucky there,
I just-
Manuel. Drive prices are
Huh?
dropping right now, so
Yeah. So, but they hardly ever drop in consoles. I'm not sure about the Xbox. Xbox might take normal ones. Then I know. Didn't the 360? I mean, the 360. Didn't the Xbox original one? Wasn't that just like a normal hard drive if you opened it up? But I know the PlayStation one has special hard drives for it, so you're not really gonna see the type of like price drops across the board like you would if you had a PC. Is what I'm saying.
no. I think you got it backwards. The Xbox has like the special cards you need for extra storage, but the PS5
Oh, really?
it has an M2 SSD that you can swap out. There's I think
Oh.
certain ones that are compatible, but it's still like off the shelf brands.
Yeah, as long as it's an NVMe.2 SSD that's at least 7,000 RPM or higher, will work.
Okay. Well, there. I'm a little mistaken, but my point being is just get a PC or get something that has exclusives. Just don't be that person in the comment section of the Final Fantasy 16 asking when it's coming to Xbox, which it probably will, but like, don't fucking buy an Xbox. just don't. If you take anything away from this really long aside that I just meant to jump into the fucking Nintendo Direct, just don't buy an Xbox. Come at me,
Yeah.
Microsoft. Give
I
me
mean,
money and I'll say
Manuel,
otherwise.
I have friends employed by Microsoft. Please don't insult them.
Insulting like them. Okay,
it's
Microsoft
insulting
as
their
a
career
game.
choices.
Yeah, exactly. Microsoft as a gaming company makes sense. I don't think the Xbox makes sense. Does that make sense as a thing to say?
All right.
Microsoft, yeah. Uh, keep making games, but fucking stop making the Xbox. Unless your friends are involved, like in Xbox R&D, then oops.
No,
Oops.
they're just involved in art for one of the teams.
I uh I dug up my PS4 and plugged it back in and like had to log in again because I haven't touched my PS4 like in 3 or 4 years. Definitely pre-pandemic because so many games still come out for the PS4. Like whenever it's cross-platform, I find that so weird that it's still PS4 inclusive. And there's a lot of stuff that still won't run on the Switch, like modern games, but it'll still get a PS4 release. So I'm like, I'll dust this off so I could play some games maybe.
Hmm.
And I was so glad it still worked. It had to do a bunch of shit with the hard drive. It's like, oh, we have to rebuild the database or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, oh, please don't fucking don't tell me that the thing's bricked. But no, it still works. Anyways, no direct. Let's talk about it. Um, what's everyone excited for? What are you excited for, Nestor? Anything?
The Super Mario RPG, just because that's a game that I had, ended up getting damaged, never managed to get another copy, and then for some reason I just never managed to get another one. And then I'm like, I want it now. Cool.
I have. I'm glad you brought that one up first, because I have some interesting opinions on that. And yes, they're going to be controversial.
What? That you hate
JD.
the art style?
Oh no, nothing wrong with that actually. JD, do you have any? Are you excited for RPG or you got another favorite?
Oh, Super Mario Brothers Wonder just looks so cool. Like
I
someone
just
gave them
want to
drugs
see.
again, and they decided to do all of them at the same
Yeah,
time.
I mean, I love Hit Mario, but I especially love that you could play as Daisy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
and she's buff.
I know Buff Daisy. She's bossing it. I mean, she doesn't do it in the game, but I'm just saying it makes me think of the Luigi memes where it's all like, "Excuse me, he asked for no pickles on his sandwich." You know, like she wears the pants in that relationship. Subscribe to
She's the
Daisy Supremacy, definitely.
she's the breadwinner.
I don't know, but like I was probably what was I probably most excited for? Just off the top of my head, there was so I have notes here. There was a fucking there was the most random announcement about the Tears of the Kingdom amiibo. And I know that's a stupid thing to be mildly excited for, but I do like the new Zelda look, the dress.
Hmm. With the
Um,
short hair.
yeah. So I'm looking forward to that amiibo. Maybe I won't throw it in the fucking backpack I have all the other amiibos in and get them all broken and scratched. So maybe I'll put that one on the shelf with the Link one where he's doing the hand thing. I'll put that and the Ganondorf one and the Zelda one together. That's a random thing to be excited for. I
You're
guess
gonna
if it's
put
a
it in the
game.
jar.
Oh
No,
no, no,
not in the jar.
I guess if it was a game that I'm excited for, I'm excited for the Star Ocean, the remake, the second story, Star Ocean, the second story R. And I think it's a good thing for me to say because I tend to like hate, not hate, I tend to hate on HD 2.5D remakes. I think that Square just gets really lazy with those. They're not necessary. Um, I don't know if you've played Octopath Traveler or Triangle
Hmm.
Strategy.
Triangle
I
strategy. Yeah.
I hate the lighting in all those games. I don't know who the fuck develops those, but like whoever they are,
Oh,
they
their dynamic lighting where it's like
yes,
God rays
everything's.
coming down.
I fucking hate the lighting in those games. It just makes everything look so dark. That's always what I think about when I think about Octopath Traveler, and they kind of did it in Live Alive. Where it was kind of dark too, and I'm like, bro, turn on a fucking light switch. Like, why? Who invented? Oh, look, a dog.
Mhm.
Who invented this lighting engine? Who programmed it? And can I get them fired?
You're gonna have to go through Epic for that, I think.
Like, please stop. Why is it done in Unreal or some
I
shit?
believe it's done using Unreal Engine, either 4 or 5.
Oh well, Liffy B. I'm sure he's not in.
He's
He's
not.
not
He doesn't. He
involved in it.
hasn't worked for Epic for like a decade.
I don't say actually he's not involved at all. Cliffy B, I'm gonna beat you up. Anyway,
Really at home and like his ears ringing. It's like somebody's talking about me.
I'm gonna get threatened again.
Yeah, he
But
left Epic
no,
Games in 2012.
oops. But no,
Smart man, smart man.
I have an interest. I have like mixed feelings on the Mario RPG remake. I can't say anything now because they haven't obviously they've only shown a trailer, but it feels like the most laziest remake so far.
I
Be-
can see that. I can see why.
like if
Just
you
because
look at
I don't know. It's the art style. I mean, obviously, just because
exactly,
it's an updated, but I can kind of see where you're talking about it. It
and
doesn't look like there was too much effort, minus like, hey, we hit up Square and they're like, hey, here's a boatload of money, give us the characters.
exactly because Square's not involved. I actually had to make sure. I'm like. I'm like, I don't think Square is involved because Square would probably be like, yeah, we want to put it on the PlayStation or like, put it on the Xbox or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, granted, I'll still play the hell out of it. I'm still
but
gonna play the hell out of it, but it's just like,
it looks like they didn't show anything new. And honestly, if they were going to add a new character, a new dungeon, I'm pretty sure they would have showed it in the trailer today. Um, but they didn't. So as far as I can tell, it's just like a straight remake. And honestly, they probably can't add anything new because of the Square thing.
mhm.
But it looks so similar to Mario RPG. Like some people might say that's a good thing, but it looks exactly the same, but with like a huge facelift. Honestly, not even a full facelift. It looks like they brought it up to like really good Wii standards, maybe, you know?
And what's a
And
Switch but not a glorified a glorified Wii?
I know, but it's like they didn't even go with like the full like it doesn't look like fucking what the fuck's the new Mario game? It's not Sunshine.
Odyssey.
Yeah, what old Mario
Honestly,
Odyssey? Yes, like it doesn't look like Mario Sunshine, but it looks lazy. It looks, and I know Nintendo's gonna charge $40 at the least for it, and I'm just like,
let's see. I think their product page is up.
is it? Let's go
Let me
check.
see.
Was Manuel right? Super Mario RPG remake. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be you can pre-order it, right? Where is it? I don't see it. Price. Oh, pre-order. I found it.
Yeah, it's $59.99.
No, I was wrong. I was wrong in the worst way.
Hey, it's
I was thinking
eligible
it
for
was
the game voucher, so you want to save yourself $5.
no.
There you go.
No. I don't think even JD can defend that one. That's a stupid mad money grab. That is like we fucking. I mean, mind you, I'm sure they had to pay Square a ton of money, but there is no way that this had like any real heavy development behind it. Like they put a B team on this and they fucking did it over a few summers while everyone else is working on Tears of the Kingdom. Like, you know what I mean?
I like
Either
that
that
you
or
say a
everybody
few
else.
summers as if it took years, and then said, yeah, it's not worth the money with how much they probably put into work making it if
Yeah,
it took them
we
multiple
have a
years.
combined total of 9 months, 3 years, so 3 months in the summer doing this.
Honestly, just like there's no way that like it look
Manual.
that should not be a $60 game. I honestly I was gonna complain at it being 40 because isn't that what the new Metro Prime cost? I thought that was gonna be a
Yeah.
stupid price. But a 60? No. You're fucking on crack, Nintendo. What are you doing?
Manual. They probably had
Young
to rebuild
Bowser.
the game from the ground up anyway, so they might as well have
I mean, they might as well
been like
charge
making a new
$60.
game. They were
No,
essentially making
I
a
was
new
gonna
game with that as a
realistically,
guide.
realistically, that could have been a $20 game. I think it's free on the fucking. Well, I don't know this for sure. I think it's on Nintendo Switch Online. It's definitely on the fucking NES Classic, SNES Classic. Um, but I think it's on the Switch Online service for free. And I'm pretty sure they're not changing anything. So just go fucking play the original like right now instead. It's just like I don't know. It's like that's stupid. That's stupid. $60. No. I was gonna complain about 40 and say it should have cost 20.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
realistic
but going on it, I mean, it's not because the developers are lazy. Like I'm reading that thing. It's like it's definitely hard to make a game. Like I know that for a fact.
mm,
But we know where the effort went. Like we know where the effort went into making Tears of the Kingdom, went into making Mario Wonder that they're doing, the Super Mario
Oh
Wonder.
yeah.
So obviously the Super Mario RPG is more of a back burner type thing.
See, that's what I mean. Like, well, I know Tears of the Kingdom costs $70, but Mario Wonder is probably going to retail for 60 as well. I think it is. I know that's already pre-ordered as well, because that comes out in October. I'm like, why does Nintendo do that? They announce things and it comes out like next week. But
Well, you see,
but
Manuel,
Mario,
it's a
huh?
uh, it's a no-win thing because people will complain if you announce it way too far in advance, but if you announce it right up close and don't like play much of the hype machine, you'll get you.
4 months and they just revealed it. Like, what the fuck is that? I'm like choking on the soda I drank. Sorry, I shouldn't have drank that soda. But the fucking Mario Wonder looks like a slightly revamped Mario New Super Mario Brothers engine. Um, and even though that game doesn't quite look modern, Mario RPG looks less modern than Mario Wonder. Is what I'm trying to say. And I'm pretty sure that this still. I mean, I'm not pretty sure. I know that they cost the same price. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. And don't get me wrong, Mario RPG is an excellent, excellent fucking game. It is. Everyone should fucking go out and play it. It's one of the best games of all time. It's arguably the best Mario RPG of all time, but I will admit that Thousand Year Door is kind of beating it up a little, like, in the modern running. But still, like, come on, $60. Fuck that noise. Nintendo is charging that because they can. It has
Hmm.
nothing to do with like the game like actually deserving to cost that much.
Well, I
That's
mean, what
bullshit.
makes something deserve to cost an amount, Manuel? In your eyes, at least.
Time and effort.
Okay, and it probably had all of that.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Manuel, which one of us has experience making video games professionally?
I don't know. Not you. Like, I'm just being a bit. I'll let this slide, but that's still too much. Anyway, they did announce. I think around the time they announced Mario RPG, they announced in the direct, they announced the new Peach game, and all they showed was her on stage like jumping on a thing. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why? Like, speaking of them announcing things too early, like
Yeah.
they announced nothing. They just showed Peach jump on a thing. It's like, oh, special things happen when she does
Look,
this.
I know that got the job done though because my sister, who on the occasion plays video games, like I mean, Vanill's known that I've talked about my sister before. I picked her up from work like that. I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it today. Uh, the entire drive home, we were just talking about Super Mario Wonder and that new Princess Peach game coming out. And she brought it up, not me, and I was like,
Oh
"How?
shit!
First of all, how?"
I know, like where the hell
Yeah,
is she
and so
supposed to
that's
be
all we did. We just talked about that Princess Peach game. I showed her the trailer, and she's like, "That looks fun." I was like, "I want to play it," and I'm just like, "You don't play games, but yes, you're gonna play it because I'm gonna get it for you."
It's definitely like from what little they showed, it definitely looks better than the last Princess Peach game. Remember that one? The
Yeah,
one
where it's
where
based
like
off of feelings because women.
yeah, the one that's like aged pretty terribly. Like, oh, I'm a woman, so like my emotions have to be so extreme that like I cry and I get angry and like
I always hated that concept. Even back then, I completely hated that
well
control
yeah, like
scheme.
I heard people. First of all, that game's pretty not very good in general. Honestly, it's okay, but it gets really old really fast. But even still, like I remember even most reviews of the time, like 2006 ish, whenever that game came out, were talking about how like behind the times that concept was. That's like a game Nintendo would have put out in like 1990 or something. Like playing as Princess Peach, where she like her tears and her like. I make that joke, but isn't that kind of what the Zelda game's about? Isn't that the whole reference? Her tears.
He does
Spoiler
stuff.
alert. Me crying, knowing how hard it is to make a game when those two called fuck lazy devs. JD ends the stream.
You're tempting me, Manuel.
damn,
Don't give me
damn
ideas.
devs always be lazy.
No, I mean, so I mean, we're still talking about this direct. Can we talk about because I don't want to like derail too much, but can we talk about the fact that this Metal Gear Solid the Master Collection is a
Oh,
volume one, right? So it's volume 1, so it only has a few of the Metal Gear Solid
It has
games.
it has all the good
It
Metal Gear
is
games.
it is a total of 54.1 gigabytes.
Wait, but doesn't it have up to 3?
It
Or is it only 1
has
and 2?
Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear, two versions of
Snake's
it,
Revenge. Yeah.
Metal Gear 2, and Snake's Revenge. Plus, was it 2 digital motion comic books or whatever? And then just a whole bunch of like add-on
And the
stuff.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's 54.1. So it is uh so the cartridge is a 2.5 cartridge, 2.5 gigabyte. So you have to download the
Everything's just
additional.
download? Okay.
Plus you have to do an additional 30 gigabyte download for the videos.
Well, just don't get those videos.
But
Honestly,
what
that
would be
feels
the
like
point? No,
wasted
no,
space.
like the videos are like the video. I think that's the in-game videos.
Oh.
So
Okay,
it's
I that's probably bad compression because I'm pretty sure. I don't think. Well, I'm not pretty sure. I know that the Switch can't do above like 1080 at its best. So I'm pretty sure those aren't encoded right. There's no way that video should be like 30 gigs if it's if it's encoded in 1080. Like somebody fell asleep or they just didn't feel like encoding two versions for like Switch
Snake
and
Snake Eater alone
eventually.
is 12.2 gigabytes.
Fun fact: I remember I love the song "Snake Eater," which is the theme song for Metal Gear 3. I can't remember how it goes, but it's like a very Bond-esque song where
Hmm.
she's singing like "Snake Eater" or whatever. That's the same vocalist who did the "I Am the Wind" song from
That's right.
from Symphony of the Night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately, unless you have the PlayStation 1 version, that song has been retconned out of the game. Like all the new versions. I don't know if she had a different contract back then and they don't
Licensing.
want to pay her. Yeah, they don't want to pay her more money. But but yeah, it's funny because every so often there'll be a YouTuber who plays Symphony of the Night, and they're like, "What the fuck is this song?" When it starts, like ding, the sax and everything. You beat this whole thing with a la carte. I fucking love that game, by the way. This is another minor aside. I reviewed this game recently, um, for the Switch. It's called Scoutfold. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Skaut Fold. Scoutfold. Usurper,
Hmm.
which is like a Metroidvania. And it's funny because I think they got the same guy who did the Castlevania artwork to do the cover for this game. Fucking looks like they stole Leon Belmont's looking thing from Harmony of Lament of Innocence. I mean, but her name Cynthia Harrell's the vocalist. But in that, I played that game and it made me really nostalgic for Symphony of the Night. I'm like, man, I miss that game. That game was great. I mean, I miss it like it doesn't exist anymore. But like that was a good game. Uh, I wish I wish Igarashi, what I call him,
Igarashi?
Yeah, I wish Igarashi didn't um actually does good games, and yes, that's a comment on Bloodstained, by the way. I
Bloodstained is
wish
great,
Igarashi
Manuel.
I did not like Bloodstained. I wish Igarashi did good games. Also, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it, but Igarashi is like a better PR version of Keiji Inafune. Uh, As in, they both had the exact same trajectory of every part of their career, including the Kickstarter. They both took over and mind you, Keiji Inafune did it a lot sooner too. They both took over series that weren't theirs, but because the creators of it originally had already left their respective companies, the company allowed them to like take over the series, and then they both start like acting like it's theirs. Igarashi retconned a ton of games. He retconned every game that he didn't do, which is goes to show where his favoritism lies. He's like, yeah, I didn't make those games, so they're not part of the new timeline. Um, and so on. And then they both did a Kickstarter that both took years beyond what they originally initially said. Yes, I'm going about the game dev thing again, JD. Um, and they both involve the exact same people. Like, I don't know if you know this, but neither Igarashi and neither Keiji Inafune actually developed the games. Um, it was done by like WayForward and like fucking some other companies that I'm forgetting. WayForward, I forget who else was involved. Um, and all the same people were involved, but for some reason, uh, fucking uh, Igarashi hired a much better PR person, I guess, who got him to like to not look as bad to Keiji Inafune.
And his
But
game was actually good.
Bloodstain was not good.
You and I must have played two very different games, Manuel.
Bloodstain was as good as Mighty Number 9 was.
I mean, let's not get that far into it. Mighty Number 9 is a travesty all on its own. But I mean, Bloodstain sold very well. So, I mean, I would constantly sell out of it. So,
Dude, I was so upset. Like I backed that for like $100, more than that, but like for a ton of money. And then like that game took like 3 years to come out, even though when the Kickstarter was done, they I don't know why every game Kickstarter always claims it's like, oh, we're so far along, it'll be out next May, And then like as soon as the Kickstarter is done, as soon as it's done, like not even like months later, the second the Kickstarter is over, like, oh, by the way, we have to delay it till like next year. Haha, fuck you guys,
Because scope creep sucks, Manuel, especially when you're doing a Kickstarter and have to promise extra things on top of that for stretch goals.
I fucking hate that.
especially of how hard it is to be a game designer.
For the record, the reason I bring this up is because when I backed that thing, I backed it on the Vita. And long before, okay, that's
There's your problem, Manuel.
Well, there you go. Long before the Vita long before the Vita, long before the game even came out, the game still had a year and a half to go. The Vita had ceased whatever the fuck. So like they had to refund everyone who had the Vita. I was glad I got my money back. And by that point, they already released Curse of the Moon on the Vita. So I got that game for free. They gave me the game and then they still refunded me the money. But but yeah, they took so long that one of the consoles, and I think more than one, but definitely at least the Vita, already didn't exist by the time the game came out. Long hadn't existed because, like I said, this was not like, oh, it stopped and the game came out next week. No, it took another year plus. But yeah, fuck that game, fuck Igarashi, fuck Keiji. That's God. Oh, you want to hear a story that bothers me every time AX comes up? I'm sorry, this is a mad aside, but I've been wanting to tell the story for a while, and I feel like this is the perfect time. Did I ever tell you guys that Keiji Inafune broke up me and my ex, my longtime ex, the one I call the fiancé ex in most stories? I ever told you this story?
No.
I think you mentioned it to me.
Yeah,
I
I
one
told some
point,
people.
like
Yeah, I told some
years
people this
ago.
story. It's literally one of the most important parts of my life. Like I'm not just.
It's your canon event.
Yes, I was like that literally was like the kickoff when I was like, oh, I'm gonna do A to J, like more seriously and so on. Like that really was like a huge turning point in my life, and it's because of fucking Keiji Inafune that me and my fiance ex broke up. So go back to 2014, July, whatever the fuck, 2014 AX. The Kickstarter had just ended for Mighty Number 9 sometime before. I'm not sure exactly when, but it just ended, and Keiji Inafune is doing a panel at AX. I keep saying Phantom. He's doing a panel at AX, and and this is hilarious, by the way, because if you remember when the game was coming out, he did the whole trailer where it's all like, oh, like an anime fan on prom night, lonelier than an anime fan on prom night. When that fucker had a panel at Anime Expo.
To be fair, anyway, he didn't make that trailer. They hired like a studio to do it and apparently didn't bother
get the memo.
Yeah.
But so I'm waiting for this panel to happen, and it's supposed to happen. We'll fudge some of the numbers here. We'll say it's supposed to happen at 1 p.m. And me and my then girlfriend have premiere badges, and we're waiting in the line, in the special premiere line, since like around noon, because we wanted to get in there, and I really wanted to go to this panel. And we're waiting in this line, and one comes along, and they have not moved us. We're like, what the fuck's happening? It's like 1:30, 1:45. What's happening? I don't know. At this point, the 2 o'clock panel is supposed to be starting. But at this point, like the people who are waiting for the 2 o'clock panel, they're like, oh, by the way, the panel for so-and-so is being canceled because Keiji Inafune has to start his panel now. And so we're still waiting. And it's like about 2:30, and we're still waiting. And even back then, I had staffer friends. And I pulled one of my staffer friends aside. I'm like, dude, what's going on? And they're like, oh, Keiji Inafune went to lunch, and the staffers like keep going out because he went to lunch like at LA Live, and they keep telling him he has to come back to his panel. He says he's not going to come back till he finishes eating. So this fucker had this fucking huge ass ego, made the panel super late, and my girlfriend at the time heard this, and she's like, you know what? We're leaving. Like, I don't fucking want to go to this panel anymore. And I'm like, no, but I really want to see the Keiji Inafune talk about Mighty Number 9. And I'm waiting for this panel. Like at this point, it's about 3 o'clock. The panel's already like 2 hours late. They start letting people in. I start going in. We sit down, and some staffer comes up. They're like, "Oh, Keiji Inafune still running a little behind. He's like the panel's gonna start at about 3:30." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I kind of start, I kind of started rapping to my bag or whatever. And like, I guess I have a bit of time. I'll play like my DS. And I look up, and my girlfriend left. She got up and left. And at the time, I didn't have a cell phone, so I had no idea what to really do. And I was like, "Oh, well." She's probably upset. I don't really want, like, honestly, like, I should have went after her, but I'm like, I'll just let her be for a minute. I waited for the panel. Didn't start till 4, by the way. I waited for the panel to start. The panel starts, and this fucker is just like basking in all the weeb's glory. Like, he is not showing off anything. We keep showing that one picture of the game where it's like it looks nothing like the way the game looked, where it's just like dashing,
Hmm.
and he wasn't showing anything new. And was just like taking all these questions where the fanboys were all like, "Oh, will this game like be as good as Mega Man whatever the fuck Mega Man X3 or whatever the big game that everyone loves?" He's like, "Yes, it'll be better," and everyone's like, "Yeah." And I'm sitting here and I'm like, "Bro, this is fucking stupid. He's not even like talking about anything." And I waited fucking 4 hours for this. So I got up and left too. And mind you, I was in the front row and the panel is already going. And everyone's talking shit to me like out loud. Like, I'm getting up and leaving. And everyone's all like, "Don't go, don't go. That's rude, man. That's rude." And even Keiji Inafune stops talking and just watches me leave. Watches me walk out of the Petri Hall, this long ass, huge ass room, get up from the front row, walk to the middle, and walk all the way to the back, and then leave. And I'm the only one who did that. Packed room. They had to turn away people, and I just left. And I ended up going to not going to guy Toshio Maeda, the guy who does like the hentai shit. He had a panel like at 5, and I went to his panel, which wasn't an 18+ one. Went to it, had a good time, was in a much better mood. Go back to the hotel room. Girlfriend's pissed. Did not talk to me the rest of the day. And then like this is like day 3, so day 4 happens. We go home. We go home separately because
Jesus
like
Christ.
she goes home, and when I go home, she's all like, "Oh, like AX is terrible," or maybe decide like the whole thing when you wouldn't leave with me, maybe decide that like maybe none of this is working. She fucking left. She fucking left while I went out the day after, like 2 days after AX. I went out to go to like a random event to go to a Weird Al signing in Amoeba, and she broke up with me and specifically cited that I made her go to that panel and that she was clearly upset and I made her go to it. So yeah, that was a long story to tell you that Keiji Inafune broke up me and my then girlfriend, my fiancée girlfriend. Fuck you, Keiji Inafune. That it's like every time I remember thinking about that game, I still got pissed about it because not even because he broke up me and my girlfriend. Because then I kind of say that, and honestly, she cited it, and I will admit that was the straw that brought the camel's back. But let's be real, that wasn't the only problem we had.
I think
But
that was the excuse.
but that motherfucker had his head so far up his ass back then. Like, he did not fucking care that like thousands, like literally thousands of people were there to see him. And that fucker was like eating a cheeseburger at Yard House, what the fuck he was doing, and refused to fucking get off his ass to go to that panel. And this is long before AX was like as big as it is now. So like, and Keiji Inafune was one of the bigger guests that they had that year. So they were canceling other lesser guests' panels to just allow him more time. And I'm just like, and then that fucker releases one of the worst games of all time just to boot. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with him? I hope he gets fired from level 5 where the fuck he's working right now. Fuck you, Keiji Inafune. Hashtag fuck you, Keiji Inafune.
Wasn't he making like shitty like
He's making mobile
NFTs?
games. Or yeah, he's making some bullshit. He's not making real games.
Real games.
Well, it took the whole Mighty Number 9 thing to happen, and mind you, I already knew about this. I'm like, he didn't create Mega Man. He was a producer on some of the games, and not some of the. He wasn't a producer. I think he was involved at the late end of Part 1, but he started producing from Part 2 on.
He's credited as a character designer for Mega Man 2.
I've always debated that because what the fuck did he design? Most people don't know this. Most US fans don't know this, but almost every enemy in the early Mega Man games were designed by fans. Did you know that? Most people
No.
seem to not know that. This is a real thing. He talks about it. So I'm like, what did he design? Maybe enemies? Like as in like the fucking little birds that fly around or something. But like you could Google this. I'm not making this up. Like every Mega Man game, they would put a thing in like Famitsu or some bullshit, and people would send in thousands of pictures, and like they would pick 8 of them.
Yeah, he's
He
apparently
revised them.
not credited as a
Uh,
producer anywhere on the series until Mega Man 8.
well, there you go. So what the fuck? He did not make Mega Man. The reason why Capcom kind of allowed that to happen, like the terminology later on his career, was because the guy who did left like at Mega Man 2. Like he wanted that to be the last game apparently, which is why it ends that weird way where Mega Man's like walking, it's all sad and the seasons are changing. That was supposed to be the last game. If only he knew. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's my AX story. Fucking Keiji Inafune. He's a little bitch. No, just kidding. It's funny because now I'm friends with I'm friends with that ex again, and obviously there were issues. And I'm half joking, but no, he was still he's still a jerk, and he did ruin my life for like a good year. So
Ruined my life. He drove it to the ground, made it worse than it already was.
yeah, because like me and my then girlfriend, we had technically already started A to J like a month or two before this, but it was super fresh. And it was after that breakup and after like we had a lot of intertwined friends that I didn't want to talk to anymore. So I'm like, I need to make new friends. I need to do this A to J thing. And I told this story before. I used to lie about this when like A to J started, but I've been a lot more open about it recently, as in the past 5 years or so. That one of my driving factors with getting A to J like so like ready and on stage like in the early days was just to spite her. Was literally to spite her, to be like, I could do this without you, you know. So yeah. Anyways, this is Manuel's angry rant episode apparently. Nintendo Direct. Let's get back to the fucking Direct.
Oh, we saw more Pikmin 4.
Oh, uh, I'm more excited for Pikmin 1 and 2, honestly. Why is that $60 and fucking Mario RPG costs so much?
I mean, it's 50 for the two of them if you buy them together.
So even that's cheaper?
I
Fucking
mean,
Nintendo.
yes, but these seem to be much more straight up like ports rather than
Yeah,
remade from the ground
they're
up.
very, very, very just ported over in that combo pack. But yeah, I think you can still buy them individually, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why I thought they were 60 together. I know they were 50 together. I like Pikmin though. Well, let me rephrase that. I like Pikmin 1 and 2. I didn't really like 3, and I'm not sure if I like 4.
Well, there you go. This is perfect for you. 1 and 2, just directly.
Also the Mario Kart DLC, they announced when I mean they announced. I'm pretty sure that when they started announcing that there was gonna be 2 years of DLC for Mario Kart, that they said that it was gonna just be remake tracks. So I find it weird that they've been sliding in more and more new content. Like the new update, the one that's coming out like I think in a month, it has a new track. Well, they've announced they've released a new track before. I think that the fucking Tokyo one was new, but the
No,
squeaky
I think that
clean.
was on tour, the mobile game one.
Well, one of them was new. I forget which one. There was one that was new before, but now they announced a squeaky clean one, and they have new characters. Like they have the what's the long thing called? The fucking
Wiggler.
yeah, but they have that dude and some other fucking. I think they're from Tor
E
also,
Piranha.
but they're still new.
They have a Kamek.
Oh,
Kamek.
Kamek. That's the yeah Kamek. Uh, fucking Kamek.
That let me shoot PlayStation symbols at you.
He's uh, it's funny because to me he's always that fucker from Yoshi's Island. Also, who the fuck is playing Mario and Rabbids? Like, I know it's a huge hit. I know that apparently millions are, but who the fuck are you? Stop. Don't buy that game anymore. Make that series die.
Manuel, there are only 2 games in it.
But who the fuck wants them?
So apparently, Ubisoft has invested a ton of money into that series. So
I don't know. I could have sworn that the WarioWare game already came out. Is this a new one? Move it.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
totally new game.
I'm not gonna lie. My favorite part of the entire direct was when the one dude was still dancing at the end when the trailer was done, and he was doing the dance. And I was like, okay, that's pretty. That's kind of funny. Like, I want to get the game just because that fucker was dancing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Also, oh,
no, I was just saying, overall a pretty decent direct.
it
I
was.
mean, there wasn't anything too like ground shaking, like earth shattering type, but I mean, it was better than previous ones.
Confused. Is Detective Pikachu new or a remake?
No,
It's
Or
that
is it
one's
sequel.
the
oh,
sequel to there, which I mean, that's how you can tell that it's the end of the Switch because they don't put the Detective Pikachu was
the
out
last?
when the Switch was already coming out.
I know. Um,
So
I don't know why the fuck they're putting Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, but not Luigi's Mansion. Like that was also a late DS game. I wish they would have put them both together. Uh, like
well, I
I
mean,
didn't
that's not
like.
coming out until next year, so they might change their mind and be like, hey, we're adding both games and we're gonna charge you a full $60.
I'd rather pay that because Luigi's Mansion 1 is not a very full game in today's eyes in terms of how much content there is. I guess the DS game did add the multiplayer shit, but Dark Moon, I didn't like the game that much to begin with. Um, I haven't played 3 yet. I don't know. I know Molly liked 3.
I like 3.
Um, all I know about 3 is that 3 has Guiji.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what Nintendo does now. They do weird shit to their characters. They have Elephant Mario, Guiji, Dragon Zelda, Carby. Remember
Buff
Carby?
Daisy.
Buff Daisy. Yeah, they gotta just do weird shit. Like, be careful, Yoshi, you're next. I think Yoshi was in the fucking the new game, the Wonder one or whatever. I remember
Yeah.
seeing him in the trailer for
Yeah,
a
he was in
second.
it.
Also, I wanted to say this. I know they announce a lot of games fast. What the fuck is Gloomhaven?
It,
The only reason I asked that is because I keep getting ads for that, and I'm like, what the fuck is Gloomhaven? And
it's like a board game RPG kind of thing. It is one of the highest rated board games of all time.
oh well, I don't know why they think I like board games because they keep sending me ads for that, like on everything. I don't know if I mentioned something, and like Alexa heard me and they think I love Gloomhaven now, but like I keep getting ads for it. And I'm like, what the fuck? And now there's a game. But yeah, I guess that's about it in the thing. There's a bunch of other shit that doesn't really matter. Like, what the fuck was Vampire? I thought Vampire Survivors was gonna be a Castlevania game, but then it wasn't.
No, you haven't heard of
Um,
it? It's like it started the whole like rogue like twin stick shooter kind of game
no, I never heard of
genre.
it. And then Headbangers Rhythm. It's funny because I don't know who the fuck makes that game. I think it's Team 17 who have been really cool with like giving us games to review recently. And they sent us a review, not review thing, but like, hey, do you want to review this game when it comes out? And I ignored the fucking thing. And then I saw the trailer on the fucking direct where it was like it was the birds. It was like a bunch of pigeons, like
That looks like so much fun.
So as soon as as soon as the direct was done, I dug up the email and I filled out the form after all. I'm like, no, I actually do want this game. Yeah. Like I've been sitting on that email for a while because I put in a list of emails where like if somebody asks, if somebody cares, like I'll do the form then, but otherwise I don't I'll delete it when the days pass. But no, I'm like, hey, I want that game. But yeah, other than that, that's it. Um,
Oh, that
Wonder
what was the name of the yo-yo 3D platformer one?
Yo-Yo.
Yeah, with the girl with the yo-yo.
Penny's Big
Yeah,
Breakaway.
that
Oh, I
one
have.
looks interesting. I want to check that out at least sometime after it comes out.
Did you ever play that game on the Neo? It was a Neo Geo game like on arcades. Oh, Spin Masters. It was called Spin Masters. Either of you
No,
guys ever played that game?
Give me a second. My dog is barking.
Your dog is barking. Well, your dog was behind you. Now your dog left.
no, Manuel, I've
Apparently it's
never heard of that
barking.
game.
Oh
What's
well,
it
it's a
about?
really cool game. It's just it's a two-player game, like kind of a beat 'em up, but you have yo-yos. It's like a action platformer, I guess you would call it in the old. It was like you ever play Metal Slug? Imagine Metal
Yeah,
Slug because it's very similar and it's also Neo Geo, but you had a yo-yo and not a gun, not guns. I think you could get it on the Switch. I think it's one of those hamster games. That's just by the way, for those who don't know, Hamster is a company that is like arcade archives. Uh, it's one of those hamster games. You can get it on like the Switch for like $8 or some shit. I think I bought a bunch of those and they're on sale for like 2 or 4. But anyways, um, I don't feel like spoiling Tears of the Kingdom anymore. I was gonna spoil that, but I felt like we should.
Yeah, you mean like you already did like 3 minutes ago?
Oh, Zelda Dragon.
Yeah.
Zelda's the Dragon. Um, honestly, I love the game. I'm not gonna sit here and say it was a bad game. But I do feel that it's the it's what Breath of the Wild should have been. And I know we said this last week, but we weren't live, so I'm kind of repeating myself to JD at the very least. But it feels like they finished Breath of the Wild. Like they sat down, they're like, "What did we want to do that we didn't have time for?"
Ooh,
And
she
let's
went on a
fucking
tear.
Oh, did she eat something?
No, she was just barking up a storm at the neighbors.
Oh, I was just saying that, like, I love Tears of the Kingdom, but it feels like Breath of the Wild complete. It feels like they just finished the game. Like, there's like I feel like it's easy to talk about now because like there's so many spoilers. By the way, I had a friend who was like, when the game came out, who didn't know that the villain was Ganondorf, which I'm like, you're stupid. But no
Hey,
offense. But
sometimes those people are the best people because you just see the reactions when they learn it. Like when the first trailer for Captain America: Civil War came out, or at least the one with Spider-Man in it came out, there was one guy I knew who had been completely unspoiled by that, and so when it happened, he just lit up, and it's like, wow, that pure
oh my
joy on a
god,
guy's face.
have you ever played Shin Megami Tensei 4?
No.
Okay, for
That's
those
the 3DS one, right?
yes, for those that don't know, the Shin Megami Tensei series is the series that eventually spun off Persona. I think it's dropped that part of the name, but the original games are called Shin Megami Tensei Persona, right?
Yep.
Uh, anyway, um, Shin Megami Tensei 4 was one for the 3DS, and like I remember watching the trailer that they first showed like on the direct way back then. I don't know if later ones spoiled it, but they showed this medieval world where everyone has swords and they're like an ancient looking city like with brick walls. It looked very medieval Attack on Titans-y. I know it's a weird way to describe it,
I mean,
but
especially
like
because Attack on Titan takes place in like an early modernish society. They have
yeah,
guns
but it's
and
like
lots of other advancements.
but it looked like that. It looked like the city looked like Attack on Titan, but everyone had swords. Um and I bought the game, and it feels like it's a medieval RPG. But spoiler alert for a 10-year-old gamer or whatever, it turns out you're like on this weird sky island, sort of Tears of the Kingdom. You're on this weird like sky island, and you go down this tower, and the tower you're on is a post-apocalyptic Tokyo tower. And when you come all the way down, you're in post-apocalyptic Tokyo, and it's all like, what the fuck? And that blew my mind. I was so shocked because you go through this labyrinth, and there's no hint about it before, except that every other Shin Megami Tensei game is not a medieval RPG. Um, but like, uh, y- you're like you're trying to save the kingdom, and you go into this labyrinth, and you fight a minotaur. So you go to this labyrinth, you fight the minotaur, and you get to the end of the labyrinth. That's when you find the stairway down, and then you're in fucking Tokyo, and the game really opens up from there.
Yeah,
And
but
it's-
don't all those Shin Megami Tensei games take place in Tokyo? Like
exactly.
every single game takes place in Tokyo.
It does. So obviously, I'm stupid for falling for it, yes, but it got me good. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I should have been, and obviously when it happened, I'm like, "Oh, so it's a normal game." It just had this crazy long intro before you get there. And it's funny because I remember thinking like clearly the game was like wrapping up at that Minotaur boss. So part of me was like, either this is the shortest game ever, or something's gonna happen here, you know? But I didn't think it was gonna just go back to a normal Shin Megami Tensei game, because like you're still these medieval guys. You're still like, oh, be all thou, fighting the Minotaur, like that kind of thing. But everyone's all like, yo, bro, I fucking fought that mutant guy over there for drugs, kind of shit or whatever.
For drugs.
And
For
you're
skills.
like, yeah, you're like joining gangs and shit like that, um, and whatever. But you're still medieval, dude. Anyways, it's a crazy game. Everyone played, and I think Shin Megami Tensei had a sequel, another one. They're all post-apocalyptic. I don't know. I prefer the Shin Megami Tensei games over Persona, just because I think, especially Persona 3, I'm sorry, 4 and 5 are a little too I know this makes it sound very hipster, but they're a little too like trendy for me. Also, fuck you, Atlas, for remaking 3 again, but doing it half-ass again. They're making Persona 3, but they're like just making the original one, and not like not the FES shit, not the Fez, and not the female protagonist from the PSP version. Yeah, they're just being lazy.
They're wavering a bit on how much from the re-releases it's getting, but yeah, I would have liked a more complete edition.
It doesn't help that like that game already has issues with having a quote unquote definitive version. So they're literally just throwing another non-definitive version into the pile, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what is the point of this? Like except for money because you can only milk 5 for so long.
Hey, there's a
And
new
yet they're
5
still coming
spin-off
out with
coming out
another one.
too.
Oh yeah, 5.
Yeah.
What's the game called? I don't know. The
Son of
chibi,
5 Tactica.
Yeah,
What is it?
yeah, little
Tactica.
chibi fuckers. I still gotta play Strikers. I remember being so mad at you, Nestor, because I remember like I didn't know that Strikers was a Muso game. Weebs will buy Reload. I am Weeb. Don't buy Reload. Make Atlas make a real remake for 3. Or better yet, make Atlas remake 1 and 2. Like, those need fucking remakes.
Okay, but both parts 2, right?
Yeah, both parts. Okay, part 2 needs to remake more because fucking part 2 is in 2 parts. And if you want to play it legally, in English, you have to play it on the PlayStation and the PSP because no version got both releases in the US, which is stupid. At least one you could play on the PSP. Or you could play that weird PS1 version where they like super localized everyone. But I actually like that version. That version is really nostalgic to me. And they actually kept a lot of that in the PSP remake. Like, even though like they changed some of the people back around, like they made one of the Asian girls white, they made one of the guys black, and they changed them all back to like being the way they are in the original game for the PSP remake. But they kept their US names as nicknames somehow. It's hard to explain unless you played it. But yeah, remake 2. God damn it, Atlas! Stop fucking around. Is that too controversial to say? Stop milking 5. Did Royal came out for the fucking Switch, right?
Yeah, last year.
I have no excuse to not play it then. I mean to fully play it. I played it on the PS4, but I don't know, I never really got into it. I'm also in my older age of not that old, but still feeling really old as fuck.
Yeah, you keep lying to yourself about how old you are, Manuel.
I'm so tired of playing console games that I have to sit down for. That's why I love my Switch. I hope whatever.
What?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
trying to get what you mean by sit down for, and thank goodness for my Switch.
Like I'm standing playing the Switch
Yeah.
in the corner. No, okay. Let me back up. Let me back up. What I mean is, I don't like playing console games attached to a TV. I guess it's a better way to describe it. Vampire Survivors on the Switch too. See, everyone knows Vampire Survivors but me. I thought that was a Castlevania game until like I don't know. Apparently, I just don't know games.
You know what?
Oh,
What I
that's gonna
really
be the
don't
title of
like.
this episode. Manuel doesn't know
Manuel
games.
doesn't
Cool.
know games.
Okay,
Uh,
I really don't like that cozy game that they showed off.
Oh,
What
Faith
cozy game?
Farm.
No, the other one,
Oh,
the Polia or
yeah.
whatever it's called. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm just like they're marketing. They're already like cozy games in general. It's a vibe. It's something that you get. It's not like something that you set out to make, or how do I say it? It's like you don't brand it as a cozy game. And I just hate that that's becoming a thing now where everything's like, oh, it's a cozy game and it's being marketed as such. And it's like, no, let me play this as my cozy game. Don't tell me that it's a cozy game. Does that make sense?
I reviewed this game called Alchemic Cutie for the Switch recently. By the way, don't buy it for the Switch. It's fucking broken. It crashed my Switch many times.
Nice.
And I updated it because there was a day one update and it still fucking crashed my Switch. But
Yeah, cozy is a lifestyle. Yeah, it's not a marketing thing that that you go for.
That game also marketed itself as a cozy game. I was like, what the fuck? You can't. I was thinking the same thing too. I'm like, you can't just say it is. Like, what's cozy about this game breaking all the time on me? Nothing was cozy about that, guys. And I actually was really nice. I was really nice in that review, and I regretted it because And by the way, I wasn't being nice for any reason. I was just being nice because I was in a good mood that day, and I'm like, I'll give it a C because the game probably works on something else. But I'm like, I don't know that. I shouldn't have gave it that C. Oops. Anyways, so yeah, I'm also a bad journalist. What am I saying? I'm just like calling myself out all over the place.
Man, we already knew you had
I mean,
no morals.
that's why they gave you. That's why they gave you the AEW game.
Dude.
Okay, Manuel, let's just wrap it up before you say anything else incriminating. What are we doing this week?
No, hold on. It's actually real fast. It's actually funny because we've been reviewing a lot more games lately at A to J, and don't get me wrong. Like, there's definitely we have a lot of people who review things a lot more. I mean, honestly, that's journalism for you. Realistically, not even trying to like say, oh, some of us are better than others. That's journalism, period. But there's some of us who are like very quote unquote fair and neutral, and then you get me, who's very forgiving. I just am by nature usually, unless I'm in a bad mood. I'm very forgiving. And then you get fucking JT, not JD, by the way. You get fucking JT who hates everything. And it's really hard to please him. Like, he will rate things so fucking hard. And I'm like, like, mind you, I still give out things to whoever like wants them and can take them. But like, there are times that I hand him a game, like, rip like, hopefully he's not too. And I tell him, and he isn't. I'm like, if you don't like a game, that's fine, but say why you don't like it and back it up, which he does. But still, like, even though it's unethical on their part, I'm like, man, that publisher is not going to give a shit again. You know?
And then you get things like me who I do rare appearances, and it's like, you know what? Let me do something, and then you take it.
Oh, the eight. I don't. Yeah. By the way, I got the eight. Actually, I don't think I'm technically supposed to say that, but we're reviewing a game, which you might have already mentioned. But and Nestor wants it, and who knows if I don't want to get your hopes up, Nestor.
I want to do work. I want to do work at the time that I want to do it, and then and then you don't let me.
It's funny because I specifically asked for it on the Switch, which is gonna run like dirt. It's gonna fucking break my Switch. My Switch is gonna be so hot, it's gonna crash every 5 minutes. But I wanted it because I did want to play it just for
Get an
just for
OLED.
fun. Oh look, I didn't know the OLED had a smaller bezel. That's a stupid thing to say, but that's the first time I've ever really seen it. It's like, for those who don't know, the bezel's the little like
with me to anime.
little non-screen part around the. I'm sure there's a more technical bezel. It's the dead area that's not the screen.
That's the bezel, yeah.
Cozy is a lifestyle. Anyways, what are we doing? We're wrapping up the show.
Wrapping up.
Yes.
Wrap it up, guys. Wrap it up.
So what are we doing this week, Manuel?
Tomorrow's not tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow I'm gonna go see Graham Bonnet at the Viper Room. Please come if you're in the local person in the LA area.
I thought you wanted the Viper Room to close down finally.
That's actually what prompted my post, because I'm like, I went there last week for a different show, and I'm going back again this week, and I'm like, close already.
He says while still supporting the place
in your car.
But I am gonna go see Graham Bonnet. He was the vocalist for Rainbow, Michael Schenker Group, Alcatraz, and a few and solo as well. He's one of my favorite vocalists ever. He has an album for the band Rainbow called Down to Earth, which is like one of my best one of my, like, I worked on it. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. Also, you might know the lead single from Down to Earth, without ever of hearing the album before, because it was used on Guardians of the Galaxy 3 recently. It's called Since You've Been Gone, and it was in the trailer for the. I'm not sure if it was in the movie because I haven't seen it yet, but it was in the first trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. You know, since you've been gone, since you've been gone, blah blah blah. Anyways, he's gonna be performing at the Viper Room tomorrow night. I'm excited. I can't wait. He's also getting on in years. You know, not to get morbid here, but not only is it probably my last time at the Viper Room, probably not, because that fucking club just keeps staying open somehow. But who knows if I'll see Graham Bonnet again either. So anyway, that's happened. I don't know why I say like that's an AJ thing, but I'm going to that tomorrow with a friend of mine, and then on Friday it's Drink Talk Rule. Also, if you go to ALA, Friday is the day the hotels open up. So
You mean
reminder,
AX or?
no ALA for Anime Los Angeles. Friday is the day. This Friday is the day that hotels open up, as in to book.
Oh,
The
okay.
blocks, yeah.
Yeah. But next Friday is AX. And next Friday, I think we're doing UPZ also on Wednesday, just because of JD going to see the room, and then it's AX. I will be at AX on Friday, and I will be drinking and probably
As if
eating at
that's
Yard
anything
House.
new, Manuel.
And I will be right there with you.
I will be at Yard House, probably eating and cursing Keiji Inafune again.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to clip that whole thing about how he broke you two up.
Did. Yeah, for those who like are tuned in late, or if you just you did the scrub through the episode, if you go back in time in the episode, I told everyone how Keiji Inafune broke up via my longtime ex girlfriend, as in we were together for like 7 years. Well, I don't think that long. I have to do the math. Definitely more than 5 years. We were together more than 5 years. So yeah. Anyway,
But
that's neither here
all
nor
it
there.
took was Keiji Inafune.
Fucking Keiji Inafune and fucking Mighty Number 9.
Wrap it up.
Peace
All
out. Love
right.
you all. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Bye.
Yeah, we're still on. Let me change.